If you're watching this channel, it's probably because you love action figures. Well, we have some ways to make your action figures just a little bit better, and I brought some friends to talk about it. So, hey, let's do it right here on Toy Connections. Let's begin. So by and large, we're going to focus on G.I. Joe Classified today, but some of the things we're talking about can be applied to other 6-inch type of figures. So look, I mean, we all buy something, we all collect something, right? You may be a Star Wars Black Series collector, you might be a Marvel Legends collector. Heck, some of you are, based on yesterday's stream where we talked by and large about Marvel Legends. Some of you may be Transformers collectors, and if so, the we're going to talk about today might be a little bit different from what you're used to. But look, I'm not the world's most foremost customizer. You've probably seen, like, I put out a video with the Gridiron Studios upgrade just on Friday. As you can see, it was head swap, kit bash, throw some stuff on the figure, take some photos, go. In the case of the people I'm going to talk to today, they do a whole heck of a lot more than that. So I know it's 2 days in a row, but I want to welcome everybody again to this edition of the Toy Connections online live stream, or TKO. And someone's already said good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you happen to be from. And yeah, welcome, come one, come all, as usual. Look, like I said, I got some friends backstage. I follow both of these individuals on Instagram. One of them has a YouTube channel. And look, let's just throw them on camera. All right. He just worked an extensive shift, and he's got some of the greatest customization I've seen on the internet. I wish I could commission him to do some more work, but it would take a lot for him to do that. And I don't want to occupy too much of his time. And when he does have free time, I just want to talk to him right here on Toy Connections. Anthony Romo, not from the Dallas Cowboys. How are you, buddy?
Doing good, man. Like I told you before, I got a little bit of sleep yesterday, so I'm good to go today, bro. How you been?
I've been all right. Just experimenting new things with the channel. Just when I look at your figure customization, I always wonder how he did that. How did you do this? And for you, it's always simple. For me, it's boil, pop, throw some accessories on. You're like, okay, so you take the X-Acto blade and you file this down a little bit, you heat it up to put it back on, and then you take the Dremel, you drill something in, you slide the thing through, you touch up some paint, make sure you use some primer. It's this kind of paint. Mix the paint, throw this on, pop everything back together, seal up where you put the Dremel, use some epoxy, putty, and by that point, like, I'm kind of like,
it's a whole 2-hour video in itself.
Yeah, you know how Renee Zellweger says, you had me at hello, and I'm kind of like, you lost me at hello. And that's kind of how it is when you and me are, because to you it's all simple, right? It's like when I try to talk to somebody about like how to edit a video or something like that, I'm like, yeah, you just add some transitions and you shorten the length of the clip, you throw some overlays on, and they're just kind of like, yeah, camera on, go. And I'm like, okay, I get it,
Exactly. Come to me for the customs, and I'll come for you for the video editing.
But that took me a long time to learn some of that as well. We'll switch off. But who's actually good at both customs and is well on his way to learning some video editing is your brother in arms from the Toy Kind of Mood channel. He just launched Black Genghis a couple of months ago. He's not in his usual setup, but I love his custom work as well. And we are all three of us are big supporters of Gridiron Studios, who's going to get featured a little bit in this video today. And I didn't even tell Mark we were going to go on, so hopefully he sees this. But KJ, Black Genghis, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. It's excellent to be with you guys. Thank you very much for having me on another great episode of TKO. Tony's my bro. I always look forward to talking figs with him and everyone else. And I always love what you're doing on the channel all the time, whether it's going back on retrospectives or just keeping current with your collections. Like, it's always a great time watching your stuff, man. So thanks again for having me.
Absolutely. And Lawrence, no, actually, that's exactly what I just did today. Camera on and go.
On go.
Exactly what I just did today. I don't know. I woke up with a bit of a headache, so I'm not doing any editing today. Let's put it that way. Yeah, I got some Advil. I should be good in a bit. But before we launch into the topic and say hi to the chat, WraithMace just want to say thank you for the $2 super chat. It says, "Morning, folks. Hey, Ken. WraithMace is one of the very loyal channel members and Patreon supporters. So always love talking to him. But gentlemen, we could cover a lot today. I didn't set an agenda. I didn't leave any questions for you because I knew you two could carry the stream very, very well. Yeah, so let's just say hello to the chat and see who happens to be there. We got Cobweb Collector. We got Anthony Romo's body double in the chat. We got Crash. We got Allison Troy. We got our good friend Nolan. It's not a chat without Nolan. We got Pericles, Dragon Ball Z, Robert Monty, Thanos Copter, Ratface44, Payne's Toy Samples, Billionaire. Love that name. Draws Walker, a punk talking about quarterbacks. Toy Sorceress, my good friend. You were just on yesterday, and she had a good stream yesterday as well over on Toy Habits. Yes. And yeah, who else is here? Viewmaster figure is here saying hello from Pennsylvania. And yeah, okay. Look.
Oh, really quick.
Right.
I just want to wish a belated birthday, happy birthday to Michael over at Toy Habits.
Toy Habits. And our good friend Ryan Sweeney had a birthday on the same day.
Yes.
Ryan
did a day before.
Dreadnought,
yes.
Happy birthday, dude.
Yes.
And right after my daughters. Yeah. That's funny.
Oh, happy birthday to your daughter.
Sweet 16, baby. Oh my god.
Actually, I saw that on Facebook. You mentioned you actually posted about that. So yeah.
Yeah, I gotta show her how to drive, man. Oh, it's freaking horrible.
Hold on a second. So quinceañera is 15. So what's 16?
Don't say that word around here. Don't say that word. Quinceañera is 15.
Okay.
Quinceañera is 15.
Is there like a equivalent for 16 or no?
Sweet 16 is just a big party. Big party, but the quinceañera is the huge coming out, you're a woman now party.
Oh,
well, hardcore Mexicans.
I gotcha.
That's the one that costs money. Okay.
That one that costs as much as a damn wedding. Oh my goodness.
Woo! I did not know that.
Okay, did not know that either. And our good buddy Fixer's birthday was a week ago.
Yeah.
Right. Matthew Comstock's is this week, and Hans Chow is a few days after that. So
a lot of September birthdays, man. That means a lot of happy holidays from their parents. So we'll just leave that.
Absolutely love September. Now, one of the things now I know Tony's got some stuff to share, but what I think I'm going to do first off is, I mean, this one isn't necessarily what I would classify as a figure upgrade, but it is something that'll make your display look a heck of a lot better. You two, I showed you this already that I got it a few months ago. Yeah. How about that? All right. And it does come with a helmet.
Very appropriate on that stalker.
Yes, because he had it in the comics.
He's the man on the cartoon as well. Yep.
Yeah, the first episode you see Stalker on the jump jet. Yeah,
he's down.
That's right. And this has a helmet as well, which I didn't put on because I would have had to heat it up a little bit. And this is more his classic look, so I went with it for the purpose of this. But yeah, I got a video coming on this sometime in the next month or two, and it's just one of those things that it enhances the figure, even if it's meant more as like a mini playset rather than an actual figure upgrade. So yeah, just figured I'd kick things off with that. But KJ, I know we got a bunch of things to show from Tony's Instagram. Have you got anything that you wanted to talk about up front, or should we launch into
up front? I'm just glad to see people playing with their. Oh, you're about to see my dad here. This is hey, see
Mr. Johnson. What's going on, buddy? About time.
I'm at my childhood home back east, but other than that, it's great seeing everybody playing with the new figs, the Trouble Bubbles, the Cobra Valkyries, seeing people having great fun with their collection. The way that it was meant to. You can be an inbox collector if you want, but to really get tried and true with the spirit of play, you got to open those figs up, let them breathe, and show us what you got. So I just want to say kudos to everybody that's been getting their new stuff and showing it off. It's been a blast watching it. As far as the theme of upgrades go, we'll touch more on about. I guess the best way to say dissatisfactions and what you can do about that. But even like what you were showing with that Jump Jet mini playset, and going back to the original Hasbro mini playsets, the surveillance port, Checkpoint Alpha, just those little things, the bivouac, just expanding that world of play. And it doesn't take much, you know, it's just enough to hint at.
I think Gridiron has a bivouac right now.
Yeah.
Don't they? Yeah.
Just about. Yeah. It's,
I don't
this
have
one.
it.
This one I did have on the screen, but because I'm also working in the background and history of GI Joe in 1984, the bivouac is one of the sets that's featured that year. So I was just doing some photography on that literally about 12 hours ago. No exaggeration, right?
Yeah,
so
Mark
got a lot of
loves
stuff
that thing.
working. Yeah, we all do. No, thanks for starting us off, KJ, and thanks for joining us while you're back east there. I know it was a bit touch and go.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you guys. It's always good to spend time with friends, people who you respect, in both of your cases admire. So I really do appreciate hopping on today. And I'll just leave it at that, because it's really about, you know, when I think about memories, when I think about, you know, whether the time I spent with family and friends, and we see the new collections, whether it's Transformers Legacy or Classified Series or DC Multiverse from McLaughlin, it's good to like reflect back on, not just as nostalgia as a passive experience, but actively taking your lived experiences and putting that into your collection and how you experience play. I see people, they add on like just blood effects and gore. I'm like, okay, man, you do you, rock and roll, right? And then you have others like they're recreating panels from the comics. They're recreating scenes from Sunbow or from, you know, we talk about Joe Resolute all the time, how much we love it.
Oh, God, so good.
It's everybody, there's no wrong way to Joe, and there's no wrong way to go. So that's, you know, that's where I'm at with it this morning.
No, but there is a wrong way to do semantics. As sorry, that's a bit of an inside joke. Being a bit snarky. I didn't want to get nasty with someone.
Yeah. What is crowdfunding?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't. You know, people need to know in the run up to a live stream not to pester you with semantics. But apparently, sorry, I'm getting really deep cut inside joke right now. Don't look in the comments of my last live stream. That's all good. Yeah. So yeah, look, every time I go on Facebook, Instagram, when Tony's posted something, and his link is in the description below, Tony's Figs on Instagram, as well as KJ's Black Genghis channel is in the description as well. But anytime I see one of Tony's customs, I stop and I look, and he knows this. In fact, that's how I introduced myself to him. I was like, hey, how did you make that swap, or how did you swap those arms? And he just told me, and then I couldn't do it. But you know, did you want to share screens, Tony? Because I'd love to have a look at what you've got
if you want. Let me see. It's just my Instagram. I'll hit what you say, hit present and share screen.
Absolutely.
All right, let's do my Instagram share.
There we go.
All right. Well, let's see. What do you want to see here?
Look at that. Well, basically, some of the figures they've announced for the classified line, you already did them a little while ago.
Yeah, I did. There's my torpedo. I can even see him. He's kind of small.
See, I thought that was just a classified one, looking at it from afar.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you got the proportions the same and everything. So.
Oh man, he's a bigger, bulky dude. Watch this. Let me see if I can go back here. He's there we go. Mm-hmm. See, he's got the Deadpool Marvel Legends buck on the right, and then on the left is the Hasbro offering.
Oh, okay. I actually couldn't tell from far away, but
Yeah, if you want to know what's coming on Classified Series, just look at Tony's Instagram. That's what's next. Right? Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
See, I made Shipwreck first, and then they had to go copy me. Dude, what's going on here? Of course, my poly is gigantic compared to theirs, but
yeah, you gave it a little more personality. You have the not the mutant. Yeah,
mutant poly.
Yeah, not quite mutant.
Exactly.
There's the details that are behind you.
Yep. I break out that camera.
Yeah, see if you can maximize the screen to 130% or something, so we can see just a tiny bit better.
I know. See, it's so.
If you can click the three dots at the top of the screen.
Let's see. Let me see.
Top in the top right there.
Zoom.
And you see if it goes to
Yeah, let's see.
Bees Battlegrounds, welcome to the chat, says, I can imagine getting the Tiger Force shipwreck next year. Yeah, the Marujo or Marujo. Yeah. Bees and I actually met at Joe Fest on the Saturday night. I was extremely drunk when he introduced himself to me. Yeah, so I don't know if he really is that tall or if I was just falling onto the floor. But yeah, I kind of had to go up. Hey, how's it going? Oh, you're Bobby B. Is kind of how if he remembers it correctly.
Or you can, I could do this again. Ken, you can, let's see if I can do this right. Hold on.
Details are amazing.
Oh, okay, here we go. Now you can see. Here you go.
There we go.
Shockwave, Night Force Shockwave.
Look at that Night Force Shockwave. Freaking amazing. Look at that cover girl.
Cover girl Blondie.
Blondie.
That's my ripcord. And then
Factory fresh.
There goes Bazooka and his buddy Alpine with the loadout.
With actual twine. Like, man.
Yes. Okay. There goes my Wild Bill and Airborne.
Wetsuit. Is that meant to be the Special Missions Brazil version of him?
That's the Brazil version was kind of like metallic looking, right? This is like version 17 or 19 or something.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was wondering. That's what I was kind of wondering. So yeah.
And then there's another. All my customs and kit bashes are loaded up with Gridiron because that's my jam. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know what? Why am I not maximizing your screen? I just realized.
Yeah, what's going on here?
You ought to be on the solo layout.
I'm just a guest. I don't tell people how to make their lemonade.
It's a travesty with an IS. It's a travesty.
There's the Dusty with his loadout.
Yeah.
And there's Doc and his.
That Doc is unstoppable, man. Shout out to Johnny Reno.
Johnny Reno got me the hookup with that. There's my Footloose. I think you made a Footloose too, Ken, right?
Oh, I didn't make it. Ryan Sweeney made it and sent it.
Oh, Ryan hooked you up. Yeah. And there's my tripwire with the Gridiron loadout. That's basically an Alley Viper. I made him to an Alley Viper, one of the orange and blue ones.
Word.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, anyway, that's amazing. Yeah. Oh, you got hit and run as well.
True.
Hit and run. And then.
You got the classic shotgun on Flint.
Yeah, classic shotgun from Gridiron on Flint. To me, it is a little long, but I mean, there are some long pump shotguns out there. And then there's Spirit's got Billy's master key.
You're from Predator.
Yes, sir. And that beachhead came out pretty damn cool.
Now, what's that plate carrier from?
This plate carrier is from Marvel Legends MCU Cable.
Okay, yeah.
He had the plate carrier, but it only has 3 magazines on his chest. So I got another one, credit up, and he's known for having all his magazines on his chest. So I had to do that. I had him all black at one time, but now I hooked him up, and his pants were darker. But then I had to paint all them up so that they're really light.
I want to give a shout out to that low light because you were able to use the strap that was already on that Walker cap from Falcon and Winter Soldier and use that to emulate the red strap that low light has. Like that was really smart, dude.
Yeah, that was a strap. It's molded on to that MCU John Walker U.S. agent, and that's what I used. His outfit was great, and now he's coming out. So thanks, Hasbro. Then, let's see
that is repeater. That is repeater. Toy Sorcerer is asking.
Peter, someone was asking. Yeah. And that's just a Punisher head with Gung Ho's hat, and I've got I think I put what's his name? Let's see. I think it was Outback's arms and Roadblock's legs and big time kit bash, but then the weapon from Gridiron just sets him off.
Yeah, smart gun. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, and there's my OG. Man, it's getting dark. I need another light here.
Makes it mysterious.
There's Mutt and Junkyard.
Oh, God, look at that mutt.
That's from the NECA Alien 3.
Yeah, that Junkyard's from the. Yeah, it was a perfect Rottweiler on that Aliens toy. And
Okay,
I'm like,
yeah.
that's perfect. Perfect stand-in for now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had to
The
make my own.
classified Junkyard looks fantastic,
Mhm.
but so is that.
Let's see. Made the
He's got more, man.
Look at this.
more, baby.
A whole
Here
nother
comes
shelf.
here comes a OG13. I'm almost done. I gotta make all I gotta do is make flash.
Oh, you
And-
went with the Sunbow Steeler with a two-tone
Yeah,
with the two-tone
yes.
yeah, green.
Yes. Two-tone green. You know, short fuse. There's a short fuse can for you.
Ah, yes. Yes.
Short fuse. I did use the Duke head. I mean, he's blonde, but you can't see nothing. You know what I mean?
That's that's one of the things that I commented on. I didn't have a spare Duke head, so I used a flint, but you're right, the helmet covers it. I would prefer a blonde head just to make it a little bit more accurate, but yeah, I
Yeah.
see what you're saying.
Breaker does have the Gridiron loadout, and I gave him a new head. That head is from Marvel Legends Star-Lord.
Okay.
That's a Star-Lord head because I think Breaker's head looks really good for Clutch.
Yeah. And great paint
I
job
just
on the
painted
facial
it-
hair.
I painted his facial hair, and there's my version of Grand Slam.
Oh, do you have the jump?
Oh no, I have it. I have the pack. I have just a pack on his back.
Oh, did you make a pack, or did Mark sell the pack on its own?
Mark sells a pack like that,
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
and I just painted some silvery stuff.
That's awesome.
And shout out to that his green shirt rifle from Gridiron as well. Like
Yeah.
it's just a bit meatier, more teeth. But I love the XMLR that's coming from Classified series. But you know, you can't lose either way.
Exactly. And there's my grunt. Silver Stalker, and there's Colonel Hawk.
Very nice.
Colonel
A lot
Hawk
of
has got a
people-
Reed Richards head, and damn I went lemon yellow on his blonde. That's why white's out.
A lot of people are absolutely like floored in the chat. I know you probably got the camera because you got the camera facing the other way. You probably can't see the comments, but
I'm looking directly at the comments, and I'm having the camera on the way of my hand.
yeah.
There's what I used for Falcon. That's a Dusty head.
Yeah, I'll be getting the ramen toy head for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's some rawhides.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys seen that?
Yeah.
He's got Chuckles already. He's got Law and Order already.
And then there's my Tunnel Rat. He's actually on his way.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I had to do Law and Order. Kurt Bazigian loved it. And I was just so happy he liked it. I was like, oh my God.
That's
That's
the right
super
guy to offer
I was
praise.
like, whoa, yeah, because it's
Unlocked.
based on him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I had that Doberman. I mean, not Doberman. That's the what's it called? That dog. He's a German Shepherd.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a German Shepherd. I got him from Amazon somewhere.
A Safari Limited, perhaps?
But no, they were way too small.
Okay.
Looked like Order was a puppy.
Hmm.
You know. So yeah, man. And what else you guys want to see? I'll break them out and put them right in the camera. That's just something showing them in the detail. So
Man, I think that's all my brain can handle right now, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my
100%.
God, that light washes everything out.
That's okay. You know, when you had the camera directly on it, it was actually good to see it like that.
Good.
So,
Okay.
and I got to be honest, like I've made this complaint before. I need proper LEDs. Like, yeah, this looks good back here, but the
Look at how-
battery changeout is insane. Like I
know.
can't
Look,
keep up.
look at how bad that washes out. That washes me out. You know, when I put them all on, it's like beep on the camera, but in the room, it's awesome.
It's, kinda
It's good
giving
for
you like
display. Yeah.
You got like a mad scientist look.
You may want to try like maybe just some mood lighting So you won't be able to see the figures, but you get some ambient mood lighting or something.
Set that mood. Yeah. Here's we did some Joes. Let me do this Cobra.
Oh, you got more. Okay, let's keep going.
I'll be right back.
This is the tour. No problem. Let's enjoy this tour.
Got some red Foosh ninjas up there for the ones that were in the Silent Castle, issue number 21.
Oh yeah.
I gave them all the weapons they had in there. There's my Televiper in there. Another Mark 1 cannon loadout. Some Crimson Guards. This my Cobra Commander. A little different. Baroness in there. And then some more. These two always need to hang out, Firefly and Scrap Iron.
And who's that behind? Is that your take on a shadow tracker behind like next to Copperhead? There?
That's oh my god, Guillotine. He's the leader of the Plague Troopers.
Oh, it's from the comics.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's I can't remember the sniper or what he was called. Somebody can just hit it up in the comments, but he's from the Plague Troopers too.
It's not Blackout, is it?
It's Blackout, yeah.
Okay.
And then I just finished a head sculpt painting on my torch.
Goodness. This is where Ryan Sweeney would be all over this right now.
Oh yeah, he loves them. They just these fools don't mess around. They hit the weights, dude. Look at Ripper.
So do you use classified bodies mostly? Do you mix Marvel Legends in?
Yeah, for these when I was doing these ones, I just used what I had. I had a bunch of Marvel Legends fodder. So I'm like, what can I use? That's a Punisher arm and Namor upper body. And
do you ever use wrestling bodies like WWE?
I do. I use their forearms and I use their boots. And there's my Monkey Wrench and there's my Road Pig.
Is that a Brock Lesnar head on the Road Pig?
Yep. I said, why not? I'm using the rest of his body. I'll use his head too until I get it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna get another head sculpt from Gnome's paint shop, but that guy went under. Like, great.
Well, you know what? Because I've got that same Gridiron loadout kit for Road Pig. I just haven't. I had a friend do some painting on the legs and add the paint detail to the arms, to the left arm there. And I wasn't sure like whether or not what head to use because he comes with a helmet as well. I know you're not using it.
Yeah, for me, I mean, his loadout does come with a helmet, but for me, Road Pig never had a helmet on, so I just used what I used from Mark II, and he said, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Have you got a fridge somewhere?
No, I have not made a fridge. I did not have him as a kid. I didn't really care for him either. It was like having Rocky Balboa and G.I. Joe. I'm like, oh, wait, they did.
Yeah, I have a Keith Lee I'm saving for fridge.
Yeah.
Oh
I'm
my
shaking.
God. That's a good idea. The WWE Keith Lee figure.
Yeah. Those are dope for those kinds. Yeah.
Like, that's part of fun. Recasting is like, who would you have? Like, if I did 18, like, my Mr. T wouldn't be B.A. Baracus, but I would have done Terry Crews. Like, Terry Crews would have been my B.A. Baracus.
Oh, yeah. Here's something for it.
I wonder if there's
I know they're making a blade that I want to buy, but there's I showed KJ my custom.
No, man, that's the blade. Yeah.
My custom blade. It's
basically KJ's got a blade as well, so yeah.
So that's why
I'm sorry, he's just basically what do you call it? He's a Netflix Punisher.
Yeah.
With some accessories, and I got a Black Series General Hux trench coat.
And it's cool because it looks futuristic. Yeah.
That's a General Hux trench. Yeah, and then I got.
That's the Marvel Knights, man.
Yeah,
Nighty Night.
There's in this Punisher. I'm a big fan of Mike Zeck, like KJ. So
yeah,
there's a Mike Zeck punch. And that Iron Fist got some soft goods on him. And there's my custom cage. I know they're re-releasing that Moon Knight, but I don't need him. Just Marvel Knights. Made my own Colleen Wing.
Daughters of the Dragon.
Yeah, I already had
See,
that.
this is why I
Not
can't
Logan.
hang out with Tony, man. Tony always costs me money. Anytime we talk, anytime I see his stuff, that's just money out of my pocket.
That White Tiger was a no-brainer with a Moon Knight body. But yeah, man, I had to get in my Marvel Knights in there somehow. And then I already customized Banshee out of a Forge. And that's actually a new 52 Aquaman head on that Banshee.
For Impossible Pie, those Marvel Legends classified figures, basically easier said than done. You either need to use a hair dryer, depending on how careful you want to be. You can do the boil and pop, but you want to time it out to like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Some figures have more give than others, and if you're not careful, you can irreparably damage those figures. That's how a lot of us end up with parts just to have on the way.
Yeah,
There's nothing else we can use them for.
Yep, right. It's a learning process.
Yeah, you want to boil that water, and you want to dip that figure, like I said, increments. 20 seconds. That's not enough. Let it cool down. 30 seconds. That's not enough. 40 seconds until you can pull it apart, and then you get it back together. Yeah.
Man, I couldn't even get the forearms off of a figure. Like Tony was trying to tell me how to do it. And like I heated it up. I used the negative screw.
They're tough.
I just couldn't do it. He's like, oh no, you just boil and pop, pry it apart. I'm like, no, it's not working for me.
I destroyed a Winter Soldier. The Winter Soldier that came in the 2-pack from Infinity War with Falcon. Yeah. Because I was trying to get his cyber arm off because I was going to replace it with something else. And it just got wrecked. Hold on a second. Look at his Cello Viper here, man.
That one, Ken, the forearms. These are forearms from somebody else. I can't remember who, but yeah. That's why
I think you use the Viper. You use the Viper and you pull the arm guard off.
Yeah, pins, and that's what we customizers like that because we could take them off, put them on. Pinless, they look great, but I don't. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, you have to use a screwdriver. You have to be very careful to peel them off and try to peel them back on when it's pinless. If you destroy the pins, you can use styrene rods to try to get lucky. But if you can preserve the pins, you can still put them back in once you're done.
Yeah. Right. So I just had to have him. I mean, it's cool. I mean, he's already classified. He's got it classified. He's got his, one cannon loadout on him. He's got, if you can have rolled up sleeves. I mean, you can even go further and put Ricondo's rolled up sleeves because they're way high. They're forearm length. And
So just for comparison purposes, right? Like I was trying to ask him how to do this. This is if you don't change it out, you just use the regular Cobra infantry. Still looks fine. And actually the classified one does not have the rolled up sleeves, but the vintage 1985 version does.
Right.
So depends what you want to do, right? So this is the same loadout and everything, right? Yeah. But I did not, he was trying to teach me how to heat up and pull the forearms off and how to deal with the, how to swap out the other one. I'm just like, he's like, yeah, this should just come right off. I'm like,
so I was.
I'm like,
I don't do the boiling.
I'm like,
I got a heat gun. I need that. That heat gun is my best friend.
That's what you were saying, right? So when you were trying to describe it, like to you, how you describe it, to me, what it sounds like and how easy it is for you, it's like, well, Ken, you just put your right foot in, you put your right foot out, you do the hokey pokey, and you turn yourself about, and that's kind of how you describe it, right? And I'm kind of sitting there, I'm like, what is this? Like, did you write this in hieroglyphics? So it's just the difference, right? So
I start my own channel. That's what I'm gonna have to start doing is put the camera up top. Hook it up, show people how to do it more, and it should be.
Just go toy Polloi style, kind of.
So let's start process for a second. So let's say I wanted to do a hypothetical brown skin Televiper. Now with the classified Televiper, it comes with 3 head sculpts: light skin, brown skin, and then the cyber mask, whatever. Right? Yeah. So I would have to swap up the necks because they use what I call the compression suit. So the skin tone of the Televiper is black. The forearms are black. And I call it the Under Armour compression suit, right? So,
what I call it.
you have the Viper 3-pack suit, right? There's a light skin Viper, brown skin Viper, and the Viper officer. I would take the brown skin Viper, and then I would basically swap arms for the Televiper. And I would do that because the Viper also has gauntlets, so I could use that to cover up essentially that compression sleeve. So now I have brown skin I can put onto the Televiper. Let's say I need a neck swap. Well, I can use Stalker. I could use maybe Marvel Legends, that kind of stuff. But let's just stick with Sergeant Stalker. And then I would use a heat gun or a hair dryer. I like the hair dryer because it's more forgiving towards the plastic. If you know what you're doing, like Tony Romo, then heat that sucker up. But whatever you do, you just want to be careful. You beat Ginger, pops off. You put that on the Televiper, and then you also put the Televiper head sculpt on it. Sometimes the skin tones match, sometimes they don't. You can either use paint. I know Tony and I, we use Vallejo. There are other people that use Army Painter. They use Citadel. You want to, if you're starting out, Apple Barrel paint, 50 cents a bottle, Karam coat from Walmart.
That's how I started.
Right? Exactly. And then like just start with simple brushes and just have fun with it. There's you'll just get better as long as you are willing to experiment with that process. They're not cheap. If you can get these figures on clearance, you can get them on sale. Black Friday, Prime Day, you can usually get the Viper pack on sale. I think Sergeant Stalker right now is like $15. You can, if you wait, you can get it as low as $10, $9.99, that kind of thing. So just be willing to have fun, experiment, have stuff on the side, right? And you don't have to wait on Hasbro or Joe Team to give you what you want. You can make that sucker happen.
Yeah, I was talking to Lawrence about, I'm like, well, yeah, you look at, I mean, the custom is crazy, but do you buy a whole figure and then you have so many parts left over? No, there's so many places online that you can get parts. You can get hands, you can get arms, you can get heads, you can get legs, you can get boots, you can get, everything. I just I came from Marvel Legends. I have a big old, bin, like me and Giles Gifford, Yojo ARAH was talking, shout out. We have bins, I'm sure you do too, KJ, about all kinds of spare parts and stuff that we just, that's why sometimes mine look like, I don't go buy, I just use what I have. What do I have? What can I cannibalize? That's my favorite word to use on these other, lines of toys. Just like, a lot of customizers do that. So you don't want to deal with paint rub. Well, let's find a figure with, you need blue arms. Let's find some blue joints. Let's find some, just it starts rolling.
So what do you use for adhesive? Do you use like crazy glue? Do you use some sort of what's
adhesive? For me, I like the Loctite gel. Loctite gel. Okay. It stays on.
And is that more of a model kit kind of thing that you would find at a hobby shop, or is it more like a hardware store?
Yeah,
you can probably get it at Walgreens too. So you do.
You can
if we had a
Amazon.
Walgreens here. What's it called again? What gel? Lock gel?
Loctite. Let me see. I'll find it.
Liquid gel.
Okay.
Yeah. Loctite's great. There's also Gorilla Glue. But the thing with Loctite is, once again, it's just forgiving. Yeah, there it is.
There you go.
There it is. It's a gel.
So
you have the gel control.
I have it right here. Loctite by Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I glue. If I had to make a shoulder holster, if I had to make something, because they come with, a lot of people were saying about the tunnel rat that's coming. It's got the loose ammo belt. He's got the loose shoulder holster. People want to sometimes glue it down in certain spots, not all the way. Hey, boom, Loctite. Gorilla Glue too. I was using that too, except when I got it, when it would get white if you would mess, if it would.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
Discoloration. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, man, it's fun.
Wow.
It's a fun ass.
I learned a lot from Tony because I was really dissatisfied when guns would be molded. Like you couldn't take the gun out. You couldn't take the grenades out or anything. You couldn't take the knife out because it was just a molded piece of sculpture. So I would talk to, Tony, how you do this? Here, you get your X-Acto knife, you cut it out. It's like you can use third-party holsters, whether it's from Gridiron or other places, and you can super glue that knife onto, say, Grunt or Web Gear or anything like that. So now that knife is active, that sidearm is active, and it just brings more life to the figure.
There's a Recondo. I had to make that just with miscellaneous straps, Loctite that sucker on him, on his torso. and you have a working holster. I had did something kind of the same with Copperhead. I didn't like that tiny little gun. And this is just for me. Everybody, I mean, it's up to you to do it. I mean, if it don't bother some people, it don't bother some people. But if you're gonna have a weapon on you, it's gonna be working. If you're gonna have a holster on you with a weapon, oh, I'm gonna make it real.
Yeah. So what's your formula like if they release an official, be it Marvel Legends or GI Joe Classified? We've talked a bit about this, but let's talk about it for the audience. Like, what do you do if they make an official release?
They make an official release. I always go through that because I didn't want to wait. I'm like, I have so much stuff to play with. It's sort of my therapy session. It's my zen where I go to. It's just get some stuff to paint and see what you can come up with. And I said, kept going. But in regards to the new ones coming out, I always want the official, and sometimes I swap them out. I did love my torpedo custom, but they came out with theirs. And to me, I thought it was really good. It was great enough on its own. All I did was put the OG pack on it from, I think Muchas Gracias made one design, and I put that on him. And then sometimes I tear down my custom to make something else when they come out. But it just depends on what I like. Sometimes I'll take pieces and bits off the official release and put them on my custom, or vice versa. It's just what I think would be the ultimate Recondo, the ultimate torpedo. Well, in my eyes, I get stuff from the official, stuff from the one I just made, and sometimes I just replace it.
All right. Imagine that.
Well, one thing I don't do, which I said in previous videos, have a separate display. I don't do that.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
Yeah, right. Because especially if I really, really like the custom, then I'll leave it. Put the visual to the side. I just use pieces and bits of all my hip hop hits.
Yeah. As far as filling gaps in a collection, like a couple of years ago, I wasn't sure how far they would go with GI Joe Classified, because like you look way back in the day when Playmates did their modern style TMNT classics, right? Obviously now NECA and Super 7 are running away with it, but they released basically the 4 Turtles, Shredder in a 2-pack, Bebop, Rocksteady. That's it. We never got an April. We never got Casey Jones. We never got Splinter, or did anyway. We didn't get a lot of the characters. And I wasn't sure if GI Joe Classified would go that route. And doing some customization, like not to the extent that you've done here, but just some level of kit bashing was allowing me to kind of fill the gaps. Now that I know GI Joe Classified is here to stay, right? Unless something dramatically changes. As far as Gridiron Studios is concerned, I may just go for things like, maybe not so much to fill character gaps, but like if it's a character that's not likely to get an official release, like the Fridge, right? Because you got to license directly from the individual, right? That's something I would go for, and I've already got the kits lined up over here. And same thing, like if you just want to do like upgrades to your Cobra Infantry or Cobra Trooper, where you do the SWAT team loadout or the Mortar Soldier loadout. You know which loadouts I'm talking about. It's getting specific guns for specific characters. I know Ryan does this all the time. That's kind of what I'm thinking. If I'm going to fill gaps, it's no longer about filling gaps. It's about expanding the lineup, right? So
yeah,
that's where I'm going.
That's where I started kit bashing. And that's all I wanted to do was fill the gaps at my pace, not Hasbro's pace. You know what I mean? And that's what I filled almost a whole detail for that shit. But head sculpts, different weapons for different lines and different pouches and stuff. You can make it, you don't have to get into all the paint. That's one thing Mark from Gridiron says. A lot of people call him up. How did you get it like that? I'm not really a customizer like Tony and KJ and all these awesome customizers. And you don't have to be. We just get some weapons, get a loadout, and like you're doing, Ken, and just have fun and upgrade that shit. Make it look like how you want it. If you don't like the rubbery freaking weapons from Hasbro. They are getting better. They look a lot better.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, everybody tell you, especially Punk, I'm a Gridiron shill. It's just for me, Gridiron. I know everybody cries and whines that they're pricey, but I don't collect 1,000 lines. I can get from them, and
yeah, absolutely. And like, sorry to cut you off there, but like this is $39.99. And then you look here, you get the riot shield, you get the mask, you get the nightstick and a few other weapons here. But what ends up happening is you end up basically taking a Cobra infantry and making it look like this amazing SWAT team type of loadout. Now, I understand Gridiron, relative to the price of the figure, because you're paying less than $39.99 a figure, unless you're getting a deluxe. Right. The one thing I'll say to that though is we can't look at them like a big production scale type of company. You have to look at them like a resin kit customizer. If I was to ask someone, because they have some level of production with their 3D printer, with a higher end 3D printer technology, but if you ask someone to customize a figure for you, what would you be paying for their labor? What would you be paying for their parts? What would you be paying to source the things you need? You'd be paying quite a bit.
It's a crap ton. Yeah, a lot of people when I would do commissions, they would be turned away. I'm like, well, I mean, I don't want to get screwed over. I mean, that's my time, it's my pain, it's my skill, it's my all this stuff. And then I would say, well, you know what? Here's what you need. Gather the stuff yourself.
Right.
Send it to me, and then we'll talk. You know what I mean? If you want to do that, but if you want one, like you pick one and you want it just like mine, some of those figures you can't buy anymore, or they're really high price, and you want, the holster that was on that one, the helmet on that one, the gloves on that one. It's just, it gets crazy because unless you really, really talk it out with your client or your customer. That's why a lot of us don't do commissions, because you don't want that price. But to get away with making a decent looking figure for your collection, Gridiron, Muchas Gracias Design, Jason Albrecht at 1 per case, and Thanatos Unlimited, all these 3D printers have great shit that I've used, all of them, to enhance my collection. KJ2, U2, you know what I mean? It's insane, man. It makes it a lot of fun. You know what I mean? But look at that. And I don't get a lot of Gridiron's more expensive stuff. I haven't gotten the weight set. I haven't gotten the bivouac like we talked about.
I'm trying to find where the bivouac is on their website. Actually,
yeah, you got it, play sets or something.
Dioramas. Dioramas.
Yeah.
Right, there's the Destro throne. Here, there's your bivouac right there.
Yeah. And so, just touching on this, it's about all the things that it comes with, right? Because you can buy it individually, and there's always a cost to manufacture to making this stuff. But look at everything that you get here and the level of detail that's in each of these pieces.
And they're a mom and pop store. They're not Hasbro. They're not, with their cost, with their proprietary blend of the resin and the amount of detail Quaid puts in it and the production that Colin does, and the little spot that they are, that's the price that needs to be for them to make profit. So that's why I stay away from the howitzer. I stay away from big old. I ain't got no room. So and you're a steady enough customer, Mark. I think I'm safe to say he will probably kick you down some free shit.
Yes.
So does 1 per case. So does Muchas Gracias. Thank you. That's how you get return people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan. That's awesome.
The Etsy shop for Muchas Gracias right there.
Yes. Joaquin is awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then they'll work with each other. I got Joaquin from Muchas Gracias to work with Mark McCannon from Gridiron on the ripcord.
Yeah.
Loadout. Yeah. Because I think Joaquin wanted I wanted Joaquin's parachute loadout to fit with Mark McCannon's oxygen hose from the mask, and bing bang boom, they did it. Came together, unlike certain people, but I won't go there.
It's a collaboration, and
collaboration collab.
It's always good to talk with these people because they're fans too, and they see the fan in the people they're working with, and whether there's, I don't even want to call them like clients or customers almost, because we're
friends,
all,
man.
It's all one big playground, you know. And,
and
the more you can share in, like the better. Yeah, shout out to Arsenal Pew Pews.
Arsenal Pew Pews. He's right around the block from me in Arizona. And Impossible Pies comment. Yeah, man, that's what me and Mark were talking the other day. Classify hasn't come out with any of those small sets.
Here's why. Here's the community they played a clearance game. So like by the time that you spend all that on tooling and molding those pieces, and people are just waiting until they show up at Ollie's or Ross or Burlington Coat Factory, Hasbro, they lose money when stuff goes to clearance. They lose money.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they had to put the money just in the characters, just building in the rosters. Basically, that's where the money has to go. Like, it's when it comes to like small sets, you want Checkpoint Alpha, man. Grab some foam,
Watchtower.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to King Grimlock, Pixie's Designs on Etsy. Like, I love that Watchtower, and if you get that with the Gridiron Bivouac, like you're
on your way.
You want to talk about deluxe? Like, you're talking like, you know, penthouse suite almost for these Joes. So it's just really about the way that you want to build out your world. What's it worth to you? One of the first things I did back in 2020, Wave 1, I love the XM25 Smart Grenade Launcher. So I reached out to a 3D printer, and I commissioned the designs. And by the time it was done, it was up there, you know, just for this one accessory for my Joes to use. So I still see the value that's in Gridiron. I used to get import accessories. I used to get like little armory kits.
Same here.
And you have to build that yourself. Yeah. You know, so it depends. Once you play in that world, you can keep yourself out of it if you want, or just take a chance and just see what it feels like for those figures to have those upgraded accessories and dioramas.
Yeah,
man. Look at that right here. We're just like, when it comes to like the fan-made creator space, look at how many options we just talked about.
Dude, it's amazing. You know, I'm glad everything. That 3D printer, when that changed the game. Changed the game, because they were coming out with 3D printer stuff when Classified hit with all the Nerf weapons. And I'm like, no. Then you start looking up, oh man, they are out there and they're awesome. You know,
I mean, there were some good figures, like the Beathead figure, I think is a good figure, but the weapons kind of, you know, they ruin it to some degree, right?
Yeah, the weapons always ruined it for me. Like, oh, this is a badass figure. What the hell does he have to shoot?
Ryan Sweeney just sent me a gun for Gridiron, and I could put that on beach. I just realized it, right? It was bugging me. That's what I'm going to use it for. I didn't know until now. We just talked about it right now. So
yeah. And then I'll get really detailed. I'm like, okay, me and Kip, we were talking about it earlier. The plate carrier with his magazines from MCU Cable. They're stick magazines. They're 9mm magazines. So I guess I need to get him a rifle that takes those magazines, at least something close, so you can, you know, make it look realistic. That's right in my head. You know what I mean? So
it's cohesion. You know?
Yeah.
So when I started collecting the Wave 1 stuff, I had enough Marvel Legends because MCU, they're a bit more realistic. So me and Tony, we would talk about how Tony hates the MCU figures, but he would get the boots, he would get like the accessories, right? The M16s and all that kind of stuff. Exactly, right? And you had a lot of figures like Winter Soldier or Captain America that had great accessories. At the time, you had like Marauder gun runners, or you had like other NECA figures that were 7-inch, and you just had to make do. Maybe McFarlane had just started with DC Multiverse, or you still had Mattel Multiverse figures that had realistic accessories, like from the first Suicide Squad movie, that kind of thing, right? You just had to make do. And so by the time you get Gridiron, you get Mark II Design, you get Pixie Designs, one per case, Jay's Armory. Now it's just opened up this world where you have things make sense. Like my Cobras, AKs. They use the AK platform. They use the Soviet block, right? Yep. My Joes, the M16s, right? Some of my Joes, I told you, Scarlet. And in my headcanon, Scarlet is Scarlet because she's so proficient with the FN SCAR. Like that's how she got her name. She's Scarlet for real. She'll take that scar out and handle business. That's my Scarlet, right? So it just depends on like how you just want to play with your figures, man. And Tony, you and I, we go back and forth all the time, man. I'm gonna do this, man, blah, 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 right?
Oh,
and it's a important thing. And this is why I got love for Tony. Tony, for the years I've known him, not once does he ever tell me what to do with this. He's like, you gotta do this. No, don't use that, blah, blah. That's just not him. It's like, yo, it's an infinite playground, right? So like I'll be like, what about this? Or what about that? Well, what do you think? Well, I think I should do this. You know,
It's just awesome as you start upgrading your figs. All I wanted to do as soon as I found classified, I'm like, okay, I could see Duke in that, but not with the armor on his legs, not with this. And it's not so much. At first, I did want to make them like blown up 3 3/4 inch Joes, but then I started liking the classified aspects of them as well. Working both for me, for me. So I was looking at I think I said this before. There's only about a handful of classifieds that I haven't touched. I haven't touched Classic Roadblock. He's perfect. I just threw a Mark loadout on him. You know what I mean?
The Maudus loadout.
Yeah, the Maudus. He has the camouflage tank top, and that's. I'm a comic book GI Joe guy.
Yeah.
Sunbow. It's like I'm 95 comic book GI Joe and 5% Sunbow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I grew up with Sunbow, so it's just the way I go. Like, I gotta find more of the old issues from the Marvel run because, as you know, I like to deep dive stuff. Right? Like the Devil's Due production run. Devil's Due publishing run, I loved that run. Like that was my GI Joe in the 2000s. But yeah, I've been told by a lot of people, like the deeper you get into the comics, into the Marvel run, the more you will like it. And apparently, I found when IDW took over, I found that they had a bit of a slow start when they did Hama's 155. It was started with issue 155 and a half, I think is what they called that issue back in like 2009 or 2008. And then I kind of found like it had a bit of a slow start. And then people said, yeah, but it really picks up after that. So I guess I got used to just looking for quick hits in comics, just like excitement after excitement. I wasn't used to the slow build at the time, so I never got into the IDW run very deep as well. Now, mind you, I did get the 4-part issue where Chuckles goes undercover, and that's one of the most classic.
I gotta get that. Everybody talks about that.
It's great. It's so great. Yeah.
I mean, if you love GI Joe, you love GI Joe, right? That's just how it works.
Yeah. My Zartan is straight up Sunbow colors because you look at his comic book Yojo, Real American Hero comic. His armor was like clear white, or it was like silverish, and I'm like, I'm not doing that on the figure. on the figure,
Yeah,
that's all. Like what your jam is.
Yeah. No wrong way to Joe. Yeah.
No wrong way. Well, I don't know. Some of these fans, some of these collectors, apparently there's many wrong ways. There's many wrong ways to Joe.
Guys, I'm loath to call them fans because like if they were around, they didn't let the morals of those stories absorb in. So it's like the spirit of play of or just teamwork. Like the Joes win through teamwork, whether it's in Sunbow or the comic books.
Right. Oh God, that should be like the greatest YouTube short. And this is why you collect toys wrong. And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. And it's not just Joe. It's not like you just Joe wrong. You toy wrong entirely. Right. And I'm like,
right. You toying wrong.
All right. So I spent a lot of time with a third-party toy line, part of their fan base, like from Jump, and I watched it, unfortunately, sour and curdle to the point where it wasn't about even celebrating their own toy line. It really was about antagonizing other toy lines because that's what was fun for them, and it was heartbreaking to see because I was hoping that they would turn the corner or that they would start integrating, figures from other lines with each other. Like you'll have more fun that way. And it's like, oh, you're having fun this way, So I had to show myself the door. Like a lot of my customs, like we were talking about, like some customs you have to tear down. Like that's what I did with a lot of those customs. Like I didn't put them on Instagram. I didn't put them on YouTube because for me, they had been sullied by the parts I was using. So I had to basically, I had to look at other sources, like this place, that place, and whatnot. And I'm having more fun with it now because it was a challenge. It was a puzzle to put together,
Exactly.
and then I was able to do that. Yeah.
Once they made Dusty and Stalker, you can do so much.
Well, that's just it, right? And some of those, like we said, some of those figures, they go on sale on Amazon, not necessarily like full clearance, and you make your customs that way just by getting parts from that instead. And you know what, like the whole third party game, I mean, I always go back to this with Transformers. The third party game's been going for 15 plus years. I always repeat that. So like when KJ mentioned third party there, the thing with that, those third parties are actually meant to like completely fill gaps, like to beat Hasbro to market and eat up that share of the pie, right? And that's kind of how I feel with, I keep going back to that example, the fridge. I keep going back to that example, right? Because you take a few parts, maybe you do a head swap, and then you put just to get the right size of the head to put the helmet for the fridge on, and then you're good to go, right? So sometimes third party beats stuff to market, and I don't bother replacing those Transformers, just like I don't necessarily go back and replace my G.I. Joe Classified, but I might. It depends how much I have to spend in that exact moment at that exact point in time. But yeah, I mean, wow, we spent an hour talking about customs and ideas for customs and where we are able to make changes to figures to help them fill gaps in collections. I mean, there's just so much there. Like I could sit here and chat with my boys for hours and hours on end, and we don't have to stop right now. We can keep going about something else at this point in time. But like, I mean, as far as both of you are concerned, like Tony, you said that you find it very therapeutic to sit there and customize something. I tend to get really frustrated very easily. Like maybe it's just a lack of patience, In terms of KJ though, do you find it therapeutic to do customization stuff? Or are you more
very,
like me?
very therapeutic. In fact, if I'm not careful, I can get lost in it. So for example, I like making recipes, right, for my customs. The first kit bash I did, I noticed that Lady Deadpool was basically just this assassin in red. I had the Netflix Elektra, the actress who played her, Elodie Young, played Jinx in G.I. Joe Retaliation. And there was that Netflix Elektra came with two head sculpts, an unmasked and masked. The original Jinx figure just has a masked face, not necessarily the blindfold. So I just took that Netflix Elektra, put her on the Lady Deadpool, and I had a modern classified-esque Jinx, right? And
sometimes you luck out like that.
Sometimes just luck out. That torpedo using that uncanny X-Men Deadpool, right? The gray with the black sides. It's like, boom, it's right there.
Bing, bang, boom. You see it. You just see it. Your eyes see it.
You look for, right. You look for patterns. And for me, sometimes that's part of the process. Like I was able on Black Genghis, I showed people like one piece of it. I do these digi-bashes. So sometimes just on my own, I'll download pictures of figures. And then ahead of time, I will try to see how the arms will fit. I'll try to see how that stuff works and whatnot. And lo and behold, that's how I put together my project OG13 on Black Genghis a bit ago. And that was just because, like, if I was going to do OG13, here's how I would do it. Here's what I would use for short fuse. I'd use the Johnny Blaze from the black suited Fantastic Four. Or I would use, I even got a Pedro Pascal head sculpt for Black Series because I wanted him to be my Zap. I wanted him to be Rafael Melendez. So I cast Pedro Pascal as Zap, and already that just gives him a whole lot of character.
He would be my Oberyn Martell from Game of Thrones. That's what he would be.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. So, poor guy.
There you go. poor guy. What a glorious moment that went awry for him.
Yeah, for my Zap, I use Forge. I use Forge from Marvel.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. X Factor Forge, right?
Yeah.
So it just depends on. Yeah. So after that, then you have execution and whatnot. Sometimes it's like, let me take a few days. I'm putting together this custom. Sometimes it's done just like that because of the gridiron sets or anything like that. Using let's say I want like just a back in action stalker. So I'll use the Master Mordo of Geofor from Multiverse of Madness. He's got the dreadlocks, he's got the beard, right?
Oh yeah.
But I'm just like, Yeah, like Stalker's been out, but no, now he's back in. You know, like I'm calling the OGs back. That kind of stuff. It just really depends on your spirit of play. And you want to keep it therapeutic. You don't want it to be a thing where you're trying to chase this impossible windmill or you're trying to spend $200, $300 on a figure. I do not recommend doing that. Use what you have. I always say rock what you got. Like that's my thing. Right?
You're gonna spend that money just
doing, yeah, exactly.
Just get a Mezco figure if you're gonna do that.
Exactly.
Kind of money on a figure. Yeah. And I know we talked about this already, but I'm now starting to think I do have a spare regular Cobra Commander. I may try to source a hooded head sculpt, pre-painted, because I'm not gonna paint it, but
I've got one. I can't remember if it's. I think it's from. It's either from. Oh my goodness! Who does
I got mine from Robo.
I think it's Donman Art. I think I have a Donman Art head sculpt hooded Cobra.
Oh yeah, Donman Art does a bunch of that
stuff.
Yeah,
and I haven't done it yet because my custom Cobra Commander, I made him from Spider-Man Noir, and he's got the high collar with it's kind of like a turtleneck. And so Hooded Cobra Commander has the hood. I'll be having to Dremel out more stuff, put it on. So I might make another. I don't know that. What is it? Not the MCU, but that Red Skull. The Red Skull. That's a what if. That Nazi outfit.
That's what I use for my Iron Grenadiers Destra. I just put the Pimp Daddy Destra in a clothed cape, and that's how
Pericles. Yeah, everybody is turning Shang-Chi into Quick Kick. That's easy, bro. That's what we want to do. Make it easy. Oh man, that's a no-brainer. Everybody's doing it. It looks great. Everybody has their own take on the sash, on the stars, and everything. So it's like go for it. We always look for the easiest kit badge, man.
I've seen everyone use soft goods for Quick Kick sashes. I've seen people use the classified bandolier that has the Joe Pro communicator on it and just paint it red and then add stars to that, or no stars at all. It's just what you want to do.
It's up to you, man. Hey, man, it's fun. Yeah.
But you see how many options? If you want to leave out certain details, if you want to put certain details in.
You want to modernize. If you want to go straight to the OGs, it's what you want to do.
100%.
I'm debating on making a whole lineup of customs from Resolute. I'll be busy.
Do that.
Let's make a whole Resolute lineup. I've got screenshots of them when they're watching the big screen. I'm like, ooh, that's airborne.
These things take so much time. Yeah, I've been thinking to myself, like, if I wanted to do a G.I. Joe history video, I'd love to cover Resolute, but like just add it to the pile of about 100 things I still want to do on this channel.
Yeah. One project at a time. That's also a good way to keep it from surmounting and becoming this impossible thing. Like I want John Wick. Let me focus on John Wick. All right, good. John Wick's done. Who's next? This and this and that. That kind of
I know because
that's what I do with Marvel Knights. I'm like, they didn't make a Curling Wing yet. They didn't make White Tiger yet. They didn't make my version of Luke Cage yet. Like, I'm gonna do it.
And with the amount of releases Marvel Legends gets, you would think that they would have touched on that character already in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
I mean, some of them go back to the Toy Biz era, and I don't know how well some of those figures hold up by comparison to today's standards. But like when I look at Marvel Legends, I would actually I know I sold a bunch of them in the past that I had, but I would actually still kind of want a Build-A-Figure Sentinel from 2005. I don't know what it is about that figure. I just like it. Right? Yeah. This is actually a great question from WraithMace. Any idea if Gridiron can do orders of specific items? As I want certain guns. Oh, with specific mags. Ooh.
That's kind of hard because they make their weapons specific with their own magazines. But
yeah, so I'm not sure.
I'm sure you can drop an email to Gridiron and let them know, and then they'll ask you more questions. And
yeah. And WraithMace is actually really, really detail oriented that way. So he would actually appreciate, if they could actually do that sort of thing, right? Because whenever I talk to WraithMace, he's just laser focused on the details. I'm like, it's a good point a lot of the time, right? So.
And you can mix and match those mags. There are mag packs, right? So there's like detailed AR mags, there's AK mags, drum mags, that kind of thing. So it just really depends. I had the
no harm in asking. Bundle. No harm in asking, right? Worst case scenario, they'll just say they either won't be able to do it or maybe you don't get a reply. But best case scenario, you get it.
Yeah, it's a wide catalog. So if you look,
Yes.
you can get close and you can maybe able to make some combinations.
Big,
I used to do that with Marauders all the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Marauders is another one that has an extensive catalog for that, especially for that scale.
I have their swords on my Storm Shadow.
There you go. Right. Yeah, I meant to pay attention or to visit their booth more. Joe Fast just ran out of time. Right. But there's some geared up figures I want from Marauders, like their Jack Burton or their what they call the Chinatown Trucker. Right.
Yeah.
That's just a great figure. Speaking of third party, right? There's a fully kitted up and geared up third party going by a different name and everything. Right. So yeah. All right, cool. KJ, what do you got going on Black Genghis soon?
Black Genghis, I had technical difficulties and also some travel arrangements I needed to make on short notice. But after that, thanks again for your recommendations on switching platforms. I have a MacBook, an ancient MacBook, 2012, but I've been looking at using mobile solutions for editing. So I have a backlog of stuff that I've been waiting to finish, and I can put that stuff up. So a lot of this stuff is going to be throwbacks, but it'll be really interesting, whether it's looking at the latest Joes, looking at Marvel Legends, NECA Figs, McFarlane, and so forth. I call myself Black Genghis for a reason, because I'm uniting all these toy brands under one golden tent. It's all the unification with none of the genocide. I'm looking forward to getting the wheels back and turning, because I had a great response to the Blade video. Shout out to Tony's Blade with that coat and everything else. I was able to put a wired full leather coat on my Marvel Select Blade using the Gridiron AK futuristic, using the Bat Cycle from the Flash movie futuristic. It was just a lot of fun, and I got a lot of great feedback and responses to that.
Well, that video is doing really well for your first video. And, you know, like I said, when you do mobile solutions for, like a lot of people say, you'd be insane to edit on a mobile device. And to an extent, that is true. At the end of the day, though, when you are in the car waiting for something, you're sitting somewhere, you're not home, you're waiting somewhere for an hour. Pull this out, you can edit, right? I'm sitting with my son on the couch. He's watching TV. I got headphones on. I can edit, right? There's just a lot you can do on the go. Well, because this was meant to be a temporary solution 2.5 years ago when I started. It was going to be do a little bit on here, import the file onto, the device I have, the computer that I'm talking on right now, and do the rest. And it just never really ended up that way. It ended up being the reverse. It ended up, if I needed to be on camera, I film my stuff here on this computer with the Logitech, and then import and edit on the phone. It ended up being backwards from what I intended. And it's okay. I still do both, right? But I just find it very efficient to be able to download images on a mobile, upload it to the editor, and then sort of just, and the thing is, but you got to optimize conditions, right? Like I use a Lightbox for a lot of things. Right. So people are like, wow, you're editing this on your phone. I'm like, yeah, but I also have optimal lighting conditions for the smaller figures. Exactly. And that's what's making it look a lot better than it actually is. Right. But it picks up a lot of imperfections, right? Like if there's dust on your figures from before I had the glass doors on, it picks that up too, unfortunately. Right. So yeah, but cool. So a lot of plans for Black Genghis. Tell me, what's your next custom?
Oh man, what am I working on? That hooded Cobra Commander. That's one. I'm glad he picked up on that one. I do have a head sculpt. I do have a hooded Cobra Commander in the damn bins. I have so many organizers full of arms and heads and legs and pieces and shit, weapons. So there's a bunch. But now it's like, since Hasbro's kind of kicked it up a notch with all this stuff's coming out, I'm like, move some of my placeholders around. I don't know yet, man. I'm like, when I was young and I was collecting, there's a certain point where I stopped. Like after I think Sci-Fi came out, I'm like, okay, I'm not doing Battle for 2000. I quit. So I'm like, do I really want to make those ones that I didn't have when I was younger? Probably not. I think I want to delve more into the Plague Troopers. I only made 2, and those things are awesome, and they're really real. They're really able to be. Man, there's some good shit out there that I can make those look really good.
Yeah. Well, you got a lot of followers. You got a lot of followers on Instagram. Your stuff gets shared all the time. When I need an example for something, sometimes I just gank one of your Instagram photos and I just toss it into a video. In fact, like I said, that's how we met. Right.
Yeah, good take 'em. Hey, call me up, message me. I love talking to anybody who wants anything. I'm not the only one, and I'm not the first one to do all this. So it's like, hey, anything. I love all the interaction, man. It's all love too. I'm one of those guys who shares.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we pretty much wrapped it up here as it is. So, I want to thank the two of you for being here. I want to thank the people in the chat who showed up, like for a, what do we call it? A non-trending topic, for kind of more of a timeless topic. We had some pretty good interaction today in the chat, and I was really glad about that. Just also thanks to the patrons and channel members. Their names are in the description below. So if you want to support me, join Patreon. I do post some bonus content a couple times a month. But otherwise, subscribe to Black Genghis. He's going to be posting a lot of stuff. Follow Tony's Figs on Instagram. Hit the bell notification for when I go on. My next video will be a Delta 17 deep dive on the heroes. So thanks everyone. And
where can I get one of those t-shirts, Ken? Delta 17 t-shirts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'll eventually sell them. Yeah, people have been asking, how do we order the figures? How do we order the figures? Like,
mugs,
all that up.
Pins, all that stuff.
I need a t-shirt you got right there. I need the black one you had earlier.
Stationary. I'm
Toy Habits mug.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I'm a dreadnought.
Out of control.
We're speaking of putting something on a t-shirt. All right. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Have a good one.
Peace.
Yo, frickin' Joe.
Peace.